Welcome to Quick-Tale English. Today we look at one of the greatest and oldest mysteries in American history. Theme: The Lost Colony of Roanoke, USA, 1590. The story of the lost colony begins long before the people disappeared. It begins with a dream, the dream of Sir Walter Raleigh. He was a very important person in England, close to Queen Elizabeth I. Raleigh wanted England to have land in the New World, America. He wanted to start a permanent English settlement. In 1584, Raleigh sent two ships to explore the coast of North America. They found a beautiful place, Roanoke Island, near what is now North Carolina. The local Native Americans, the Algonquin people, were friendly at first. Two of the English explorers, Montejo and Wanchase, agreed to travel back to England with the sailors. Raleigh was very excited. In 1585, the first group of men arrived on Roanoke Island. This group was mostly soldiers and scientists. They built a small fort, but life was very difficult. They did not have enough food, and they did not know how to farm in the sandy soil. Soon, the relationship with the local people became bad. There were fights. After only 1 year, when Sir Francis Drake stopped at the island, the 100 men decided to give up and return to England. Raleigh did not give up. He knew he needed a different kind of settlement, not a military fort, but a real community with families. In 1587, Raleigh organized a second group. This group was special, 117 people in total. There were 17 women, 9 children, and about 90 men. The leader was a man named John White. John White was an artist and a friend of Raleigh's. He was also the governor of this new colony, which they called the City of Raleigh. The plan was to sail past Roanoke and settle near the Chesapeake Bay. But the pilot of the ship, Simon Fernandez, was difficult. He forced the settlers to stop at Roanoke Island, where the old fort had been. John White was very angry, but he could not change the pilot's decision. They had to stay. The colonists started to build houses again. Life was very hard from the first day. They found the small group of men left behind from the first expedition had been killed. This made the colonists very nervous. In August 1587, something wonderful happened. Eleanor Dare, John White's daughter, gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Virginia Dare. Virginia was the first English child born in the New World. This was a sign of hope for everyone. However, the mood was still low. The colonists knew they needed more supplies, more food, and more tools. They needed a leader to go back to England quickly. John White was chosen. He did not want to leave his family, especially his newborn granddaughter Virginia, but he promised the colonists, "I will return in a few months. I will bring everything you need." Before White left, the colonists agreed on a special rule. If they had to move from Roanoke, they would carve the name of their new location on a tree or a post. And if the move was forced by danger, they would carve a special sign, a Maltese cross. On August 27, 1587, White sailed back to England. This was the last time he, or anyone else, would see the 117 colonists alive. White arrived in England safely. but he could not return quickly. Why? England was at war with Spain. Spain was preparing a huge fleet of ships called the Spanish Armada to attack England. Queen Elizabeth I ordered that no ship could leave England. Every ship was needed for the war. White tried to find a way to return. He paid for small ships, but they were attacked and forced to turn back. John White was stuck in England for 3 long years. 3 years of worry. He thought about his daughter Eleanor, his son-in-law Ananias, and little Virginia. Finally, in 1590, the war was over, and White found a ship that was going to the West Indies. He convinced the captain to stop at Roanoke Island. On August 18, 1590, Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, John White returned to Roanoke Island. White's ship dropped anchor. White went ashore with a small group of sailors. The area was completely quiet, too quiet. White looked at the settlement. The houses were not destroyed, but they had been taken down or dismantled carefully. There were no people. There were no bodies. Everything was gone. It was as if the people had packed up and simply walked away. White felt a terrible fear. He looked for the special sign of danger, the Maltese cross. He did not find it. Then they saw a large wooden post. On the post, someone had carved 3 large letters, C-R-O. They continued walking towards the main fort. On a large tree nearby, they found the full word carved deep into the bark, Croatoan. White felt relief and hope. He remembered the agreement. Croatoan was the name of an island 50 miles south, the home of Chief Monteo's friendly people. The absence of the cross meant the colonists had left peacefully. They had moved to Croatoan Island. White wanted to sail to Croatoan immediately, but fate was against him again. A sudden, terrible storm hit the ship. The ship lost its anchor and was damaged. The captain refused to risk his ship and crew. White was forced to leave the New World forever without finding his family or the colony. To this day, the fate of the 117 colonists remains America's oldest mystery. What happened to them? The most popular theory is that they did move to Croatoan Island and slowly mixed with the local Native American tribes. Evidence shows that later tribes in the area had blue eyes and sometimes spoke English words. Other theories suggest they were killed by a hostile tribe, or that they tried to sail away and were lost at sea. But the word Croatoan on the tree is the only real clue. The people of the lost colony vanished, leaving behind a single word and a mystery that continues to captivate the world. Thank you for joining Learn English with Stories. Subscribe for more real and captivating stories. See you next time.